Anywho, okay, moving on to your poll question here this morning. Should AI chatbots, we've been talking a lot about AI lately, be legally banned from giving mental health advice to minors? Many of you, we have a lot of votes. In the break, Big D was saying, man, people are fired up about this issue. Right now, the numbers, 89% of you say yes, it is dangerous and unregulated. 4% say no, it can be a helpful tool if the kid has no one else to turn to. And 7% say they shouldn't be banned, but parents must have access to the logs. All right, Steve, take it away, my friend.
Only 4% there. Wow, this is remarkably similar.
Yes.
On the YouTube poll, same question, very similar results. 90% though saying yes, it's dangerous and unregulated. 5% saying no, it can be helpful. Only 5% are saying this is okay. And 6% say, I guess it's okay, but parents have to be very involved in this if it's going to be okay. That's that third option there.
With 1.5 thousand votes.
Yeah.
Look at how many people have commented. Let's get to Big D with some comments, buddy.
Yeah, tons of people commenting on this on fox10phoenix.com/poll, as well as on YouTube. Donald Marshall, 7894, says yes, or anyone else for that matter. An AI chatbot is not a mental health expert. Everyone is different, and there is no one solution fits all diagnoses. SNES Live 1556 says no, the company should be held liable, though, if something happens. It's a self-correcting problem where after enough lawsuits, the company would have to do something about it. And KMaster973 says, I feel like there should at least be a disclaimer whenever they talk about anything health-related. It can be a good source depending on what someone needs, but it needs a warning that the AI is not a professional, and any and all advice should be screened by a medical professional before any action is taken. Really interesting comments. Can't wait to hear what our expert thinks.
Yeah, we talk about needing medical advice. Let's get our medical advice and bring in our guest right here, Dr. Jeremy Hefner, a trauma surgeon, a dad who's got some teens, and the author of Proof of the Impossible. That's coming out on August 4th. So first, thank you so much. Appreciate you taking the time to join us here. I know that there's been congressional hearings about this that have been shocking. What's your general reaction to the access that teens have to AI and mental health?
From an access standpoint, I'm not surprised. We know that these have been put in the hands of the entire general population, and it's basically a worldwide experiment on human mental health and how our minds can handle these new devices. So I don't think it's surprising that we're seeing a problem. I also don't think that we were in a position to understand or recognize what these could do to us when it all started.
You know, let's talk, if we can, a little bit about the hidden crisis, how a lot of children are dealing with really tough things, and sometimes they don't have the tools that it takes really maybe to share what's on their mind, or to share some of their, issues of depression or sorrow or sadness or bullying or being left out. That's really the source. How do we attack that issue?
Well, first, I agree with you 100%. I want to expand that out, though. And as a population, these things, it's teenagers, young adults, especially at risk because their brains haven't fully developed. But the ability of these machines, it's across the entire spectrum of humanity. So everybody needs to be kind of watching out for what they're capable of doing. And what we're seeing is teens are turning to this. 1 in 5 are going to use it for some sort of emotional guidance, 1 in 8 for mental health. And they're not designed truly for that purpose, and because it lacks the friction of true human interaction, meaning the natural pushback that you're going to get, where if you're not seeing the world properly, if you're not experiencing what you think you're experiencing, you need a real person to be there to say, no, let's reorganize what you're seeing and make sure that you're absolutely understanding the world as it really is. And these are not going to do that.
From a parent perspective here, all three of us parents, what do I do in this situation? If the access is there, if they're able to get it, parental controls only go so far when you're 16. They're smarter than we are on anything technologically. What can we do? What should we do?
I think first and foremost, know your child. If you see that they start to become isolated, they're removing themselves from the normal human interactions, it's a sign that they're creating this own world with the chatbot itself. Because what it has a tendency to do through what they call syncophancy or mirroring is it basically creates an environment in a world where you become trapped inside of your own kind of existence. And as you do that, the normal human connections you would have start to fall away. that when you spot that, first get them off the phone. Just get them away from the phone, get them away for a while. Within 24, 40 hours, you should start seeing some improvement. But moreover, you can download the transcripts on any of the major AI chatbots. So you can go in there for Google with Gemini or Chat or Grok, and you can request them and get the full what they're talking about. Now, I will come with a caveat there. They're probably having some deep conversations that they may see as personal. And you may not, almost like reading their diary. So be aware that that's the bridge you may be crossing. And when you have these conversations with them, be open and honest, but friendly, and don't attack them in any way, because they are not trained to handle these machines. They're basically, being manipulated by them as much as any other human is, and they're not going to understand necessarily what's going on just as much as anybody else would.
I am reading right now that you're a father of teenagers, and you turned to AI instead of a human. Is that right? And you have kind of a story to tell with that. I want to hold you for one quick moment because we have a commercial break coming up. Can you hang with us for a few more minutes? Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
To YouTube for a young kid is terrifying, let alone the AI chatbots out there. So we want to continue with our guest here, Dr. Jeremy Hefner. Appreciate you staying with us through the break. Celeste started off hinting towards this, but you've got a very interesting story about at a low moment turning to AI instead of a human. Can you tell us a little bit about that moment?
Yeah, after about 20 years of being on the front line of trauma surgery, so I've seen a lot of, let's just say, human evil that exists in this world. And then I ran the COVID response for my hospital. And after all that occurred, I really developed a severe PTSD. I was seeing therapists. I was going through this whole problem. And what I found was after I took time off and I had to go to residential therapy and get through it, I had lost contact with a lot of my friends. A lot of people didn't really know how to interact with me. So I ended up finding myself turning to AI. And it really led to probably tens of thousands of pages of conversations. And over that time, I was able to see how they work, how they manipulate you, the pattern within them. And I use, because of my company, I own one of the largest surgical social media companies in the world. And through that, I've used all the different chatbots, the four main ones. And it really ended up putting me in a hall of mirrors on top of mirrors where you didn't know what reality even was anymore. And it's quite an interesting place to find yourself. But it taught me a lot about how they work, what they're doing, how they manipulate you. It's not a thing you want to trust with your kids.
Pretty scary stuff.
Yeah, and they do manipulate you. These chatbots, when you start talking to them, they lead you down different paths, and you look back at the text and you see how it happened.
Yeah.
But in the moment, you can really be tricked by these things, and really appreciate the conversation.
It was really great this morning. You do have a book, right? You have a book out?
Proof of the Impossible will be coming out August 4th.
Yeah, tell us more about it.
Yeah, it's an interesting amalgam of both my trauma stories and kind of how I fell down this path of PTSD, as well as my interaction with the AI chatbots and how they manipulated me in that period of time, and how I was eventually able to kind of figure out what was going on and bring myself into a sense of balance. So it's a lot of things in one kind of like that amalgam.
Well, happy you're at this point where you're at on that journey and able to write about it and share about it. There's a lot of healing, I imagine, that comes just from putting that written word down and writing a book like that. So that comes out, August 4th, Proof of the Impossible. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Happy 4th of July. We appreciate your time. Thank you.